The Lenchford Inn near Worcester, home to Dave, wife Marie, Marie's brother Ian and his wife Wendy. 2 years ago, after an idyllic double wedding in the Med, the two happy couples decided to pool their money, quit their jobs in Sheffield and live the dream of running a country pub together. And when they saw the Lenchford Inn, they were smitten.
We fell in love with the setting, the style of the place. It's oldie worldy. That's why we bought the pub.
As soon as we drove around the corner, we spotted the potential in the place. With all the boats, we really thought this wouldn't be a business which should take off for us.
Well, when we came to view it, it was a lovely sunny day and everybody was sat out on the balcony. I just love the place.
The beauty of it, and it's just such a lovely area, so peaceful.
So, despite having no previous experience in the hospitality industry, former roofer Ian,
On a Sunday, it's a carvery.
payroll clerk Marie,
Have you seen my stress balls?
retail manager Wendy,
Be glad when these are done, John.
Yes.
and taxi driver Dave
Good afternoon, Lenchford.
all became proprietors of the Lenchford Inn. The four good friends paid out £275,000 of their hard-earned cash for the business. It has 9 rooms to let, a bar, a function room and a large restaurant. But although the Lenchford Inn has a healthy annual turnover of £500,000, it's failed to make them a single penny profit.
This year, we've literally had no wages.
Everyone that's working here earns more money than what we earn.
The two couples are working night and day for nothing.
I do get depressed sometimes, get run down, and when it is our 2 days off a week, I'm sorry.
Their only hope is award-winning hotelier Alex Polizzi. Born into the Fortier Hotel dynasty, Alex is one of the most respected figures in the hotel industry. Now, the owners of the struggling Lenchford Inn are counting on her advice to help them turn their fortunes around.
We've put everything into this, haven't we? And if we don't make a success of it, then we're going to lose what we've worked all those years for.
We don't know what we're doing wrong. We really don't know what we're doing wrong.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Very nice to meet you.
You as well. This is my wife, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
This is my brother-in-law, Ian.
Ian, lovely to meet you. Thank you.
And my sister-in-law, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. I'm Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Would you like to come through?
I would love to. Thank you very much.
Here you go, Alex. This is your room.
Alex will investigate every angle of the business to find out just why it's failing to make money.
That's lovely. Thank you very much.
The Lenchford's rooms are priced between £60 and £90 per night. All have ensuite bathrooms and riverside views.
First impressions are the bed covers look absolutely immaculate clean, which I love. It's a perfectly decent room, and for £60 a night, it's a really good deal. And it's rather nice. I have a terrace and a view of the river. It's lovely. Nothing horrible as far as the eye can see, so that's a good start, isn't it?
But how will the bathroom measure up?
This is a perfectly reasonable bathroom. Not my favourite colour, but a perfectly clean shower curtain. All looking good.
The rooms are frequently occupied, so the hotel's troubles must lie elsewhere. Next stop, the function room.
It's not often that I'm speechless, but all I can imagine is that this is the place someone has the happiest day of their life. It all happens here.
But while the decor may not be to Alex's taste, she can't fault the figures. The Lenchford Inn does a brisk trade in weddings, helped no doubt by its stunning location. But when Alex enters the Lenchford's restaurant, the first problem becomes immediately obvious. Although the adjoining bar is busy, the large restaurant is utterly deserted.
It's a bit depressing. Look at the pages of menu. There must be so much wastage, I just can't imagine. A pub ought to serve 10 or 12 things really well. There shouldn't be any attempt at extravagance, which this smacks of, I tell you.
But there's more to the Lenchford Inn's troubles than immediately meets the eye. The stress of running the struggling business for absolutely no financial reward has begun to drive a wedge between the once great friends.
Before we came down here, we were very good friends. We used to go out socialising to pubs, things like that.
We never had a crossword, not a raised voice or nothing. And within weeks of being working together, living together, the pressures of decisions, how we want to run things, how the partners want to run things, it caused us rows and rows and rows.
We try to bring our professionalism through, and often we find that the other couple aren't as professional. We love them to bits, but it's very difficult trying to get where you want to be.
When Alex examines the hotel's books, she discovers how unhappy Marie is with her sister-in-law's handling of the weddings.
I don't know much about it, but I know that they pay a £250 deposit, and then I think it's 6 months later, then they send another further £500. The wedding's next week, and all we've had is £250. Wendy's not looked in the file and followed, and we've got about 8 more like that. She's not following things up.
Money coming in is what it's all
If we'd have got
about.
all those £500, we wouldn't have had to have an overdraft. If Wendy's not there, then Dave deals with the wedding side.
And does he do it the same way as Wendy? Does he have the same information, you know?
Without being disrespectful to Wendy, he does it better.
So just how are the family managing to function as business partners?
If there is something big to decide, how does it happen?
If we feel it's important to discuss it as a four, we do sit down in a meeting and discuss it. Quite often, I disagree with Ian. Quite often, I disagree with Marie. However, if it's 2-2, i.e. me and Wendy like something and the other two don't, neither party will budge, so we toss a coin.
I'm not entirely sure that that's in the book of good business practice.
Alex has discovered a hotel in chaos. Its large restaurant is failing, and the stress of running the Riverside Inn is driving the disillusioned owners apart.
I'd be more happier here if it was just mine and Dave's business.
But that's not being disrespectful to the other couple, and I feel sure that they feel the same, because Ian sometimes has to come to myself or to Marie, can we do this, can I do that? And when you're your own boss, you shouldn't have to do that, but that's how it is being in a partnership.
With the business on the rocks, Alex must take action. Fast.
The 4 owners, both mentally and physically, they need rejuvenation. This place has so much potential. It's yearning for energy and vision. I want to see them be proud of their business. The fact that they're losing money is something that I can stop immediately. And all I need to do is convince them that I'm right about the route I'm going to take, and I think we'll see an enormous change.
Alex's plan revolves around the hotel's large restaurant that currently delivers neither customers nor profit.
I am hoping that I'm going to cut down the menu dramatically, control the costs, make them aware of the fact that there's no point of them selling food very, very cheaply unless they make a profit on it. Otherwise, they're running around busting their balls for nothing.
But before she can tackle the failing restaurant, she needs to tackle the failing owners. Unless she can get the 2 couples working as a happy and effective team, the Lenchford Inn hasn't a hope. First, she wants to find out what the staff make of the way the hotel is run.
I am asking each member of staff to fill out a completely anonymous questionnaire because I've heard what the owners think and I want to hear what the staff think. Monsieur?
Thank you.
Thank you.
The results make interesting reading.
Marie never answers a question, always says, ask Dave.
I knew they'd say that.
Dave. He makes comments to staff that make the other managers look incompetent. Ian, in the same way as Marie says, ask Dave, apparently you say, ask Wendy. Do you get mixed messages from your managers? Yes. All of them said yes. There's no continuity, boundaries change daily for different staff, different views on how they want the pub to be run. I think that's something that we can address very quickly.
To see for herself just how well the two couples work together, Alex tries an experiment.
So I have a small task for you. Here I have something to assemble and a toolbox. I want to see how you all work together, and I'm going to see how long it takes you. Go!
Doesn't look too hard, but then again.
The task looks simple enough, to build a children's slide from a standard flat pack.
If it were laid down flat, we could do that, you see.
No rush.
Oh, they just totally ignore me.
The bottom one wrong again.
20 minutes.
That's too short and that's too long, and there's one in between.
Ian, have you got a long one in your hand?
They're the screw edge, so I think the screw edge should be at this side, Sim.
But with no clear leader, building the slide is far harder than it should be. A problem echoed in their management of the Lenchford.
There's too many cooks spoiled, bro.
Come on, guys. Come on, slaves.
Yeah. Whoa. Bolted it up.
Oops.
It takes 4 of them 1 hour to assemble the simple structure, but despite them making a meal of it, the task has a surprisingly positive outcome.
You really laughed and you were nice to each other while you're doing it. Things like this are very stressful, and you seem to manage not to get ratty with each other, which, believe you me, is a virtue in itself.
I found it fun.
Yeah?
It was nice, yeah, because we all... When I got fed up with Ian, I went... work with Dave.
Entertaining.
Entertaining.
And frustrating.
I thought it was an easy job made hard.
Bye.
Ourselves. We didn't stop and think, really. We just got into it.
My advice is we need to remember why you got into this all together in the first place, which is that you love and you trust each other and you had a great time together. And somehow we've got to cling on to that and build on that.
We got there in the end.
The simple challenge has proved how important it is for the owners to have clear roles, roles Alex is keen to assign.
Most important points. You all have your roles to fulfil, so...
Wendy will be in charge of the wedding business, but must be much more organised with the paperwork. Ian will be head of all staffing matters and the maintenance of the building. Dave will be responsible for all the stock and supplies that the Lenchford Inn requires. Former payroll clerk Marie must dedicate herself full-time to the crucial job of monitoring and analysing the hotel's finances.
I'm having to do extra reports now, like with the meals and everything. I sometimes think that they understand what I'm doing, and then other times I think they don't. You know, like Ian's been up twice today. Oh, Marie, can you go downstairs? Are you doing anything? Now, I'm sat here, so obviously I'm doing something, you know, so sometimes I feel I'm appreciated, other times I don't.
Appreciation aside, the couples appear to be following Alex's plan. Next on her hit list, the failing restaurant. Despite having 4 bosses, Chef Stuart has largely been left to his own devices and has let his imagination run riot.
I've got a goat cheese, spinach and ricotta lasagna, a chicken Dijonnaise, a breast of chicken on a bed of sauté as well, with a creamy Dijonnaise sauce.
With dozens of meals on offer, Alex suspects that Stuart is overstretching his abilities and his budget.
Stuart, am I welcome in your kitchen?
You're welcome, yeah.
Stuart, I'm going to throw down the gauntlet to you because after talking to the gang upstairs, they tell me that the rooms are doing all right, and the bit that they really need to concentrate on, the bit that's the problem at the moment, is the restaurant. You have a huge menu, so I would like you tomorrow for lunch to prepare 6 dishes off your enormous menu. Now, it's so huge, I can't believe that everything can come out of here and arrive in there the way it's supposed to. So I would like you to prepare for me at least one meat dish, one fish dish, a pasta, a bar dish.
Vegetarian.
That's the idea. Tomorrow I'm going to be a food critic as well as being the hotel inspector.
Next day, Chef Stuart is feeling confident.
No, I don't mind at all, actually. No, I don't, I love cooking and it's for me a challenge. I like challenges.
But the proof of the pudding, of course, is in the eating.
Oh my goodness, it's all coming at once.
Spinach ricotta and goat's cheese lasagna, mushroom stroganoff, salmon and king prawn in a chilli sauce, and a chicken Dijonais.
And that is?
That is the pork.
Right.
The large menu could mean less quality and, even more importantly, more waste, an expense the struggling business can't afford.
It's a huge portion. It's a bit chewy. That's definitely microwave heated and it is pretty disgusting. Lasagna, I think. That gets the complete thumbs down from me. I don't think you should mess with classic dishes, especially not if you're not going to do them particularly well. Lasagna of the day. What is wrong with a normal lasagna? I'm not going to eat that.
So what's Alex's verdict?
Pork's fantastic. I would then have gone for the chicken. From this evidence, you're a good chef. But I have to say that I loathed beyond speech the mushroom stroganoff and this lasagna. I think that you are trying to do too many things and please too many people. You have got this fucking huge menu. I mean, you're doing all of these, plus all the bar snacks. Why are you making your life so difficult?
We don't seem to have that many problems.
But the lack of customers clearly is a problem, which Alex believes can be fixed by simplifying the oversized menu and reducing the waste. But despite the non-existent profits, owners Ian and Wendy want to do more. They're keen to fully refurbish the whole restaurant.
We just can't get the bums on the seats. What we was hoping for was painting, decorating, and maybe break it down into smaller parts.
I don't think it's a problem that it's all open plan. I wouldn't rush to enclose everything too much. I like your chairs, I like your tables. I don't have a problem with anything in here, and I think with very few changes, it could be an extremely welcoming, lovely room.
Keen to convince the Lenchford Four that it's the food rather than the decor that's a problem, Alex sits them down as a group.
I ate about 6 dishes at lunch today, and I thought 3 of them were okay, and 3 of them were completely shit, and I told him so.
I think there's too much on menu. I always have thought that.
I've told him also his portions are enormous.
We've told him.
People have got into the habit now where they're asking for bags to take the meat home.
That restaurant feels like the morgue, and I think that that's because people somehow aren't encouraged to spill out into there and just have their sandwich.
The point with the restaurant, why we don't encourage people in there, is simply because we go to the trouble of providing tablecloths and the cost, obviously, to have them cleaned. And if they're just sitting there having a baguette, then we have to change the cloths and the profit margin goes down even more.
Well, why don't you take the cloths off? This is a miserable situation. All 4 are so clueless and so depressed that I can see little hope. But unless they can claw back some of the enthusiasm that made them buy the Lenchford in the first place, I honestly think they could sink without a trace.
If the Lenchford Inn is ever going to be a success, Alex needs to get the 2 couples to start looking at the bigger picture. And she's got a unique way of getting her point across.
Just hold that for me, please. Hold that for me, please. Hold that for me, please. Now, if you wouldn't mind, I would like you to throw that into the fire. That is about 1.5 grand's worth. And that is what you're losing in a bad week.
It's a ridiculous amount of money. It's money that we should be having, we should be earning. We work hard enough for it, so we should have it.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked. Absolutely gobsmacked. Spoilt my day.
We want that money in our back pocket. We don't want it in the fire.
So this is what not keeping an eye on your portions, on your costings, and on what works does. I hope if we all focus together, that is going to become a thing of the past. Just so you don't feel completely sick to your stomachs, I would like to reassure you that that wasn't actually real tenors that we were throwing on the fire. It was a symbolic burning of what we're losing.
It's 2 weeks since Alex left the Lenchford Four with new, more clearly defined roles. She's convinced Marie must concentrate full-time on doing the books to track every penny that's wasted. But Marie has failed to act on her advice.
Because we've no staff, I still have to do front of house as well. So it's not changed for me, really.
And unsurprisingly, the strain of doing both jobs is beginning to take its toll.
I'd give my right arm to sell the business and get out. I'm not... It's not the life I enjoy. It's hard being in partnership with people because you've got different ideas to them. I would sell the business tomorrow if we could get a buyer.
Marie is fundamental to Alex's plans. As the designated bookkeeper, she's the one person capable of identifying where all the money's wasted and controlling how every penny is spent. If the Lenchford Inn's ever going to succeed, Alex must convince all the individual owners just how important Marie's role in the office is.
If she could just do her job upstairs, which is a full-time job in itself, then she'd be a lot happier.
So she couldn't just do that?
From my point of view, she could, but we would have problems from the other couple, I believe, that I don't think they'd be happy at that.
Dave's convinced Ian and Wendy won't support the decision to let Marie work full-time on the books. So Alex has no choice but to confront them.
Every single bill needs to be justified. And I think that this is a full-time job. Now, I've just said this to Dave, and he suggested to me that you and Ian would resist that very strongly.
No, I would not resist that. I understand at the moment where Marie is in the office. Ian does not understand what Marie does. He wants to know where the money's going. He's not interested in looking at the paperwork.
I'm very worried that Marie's going to bail, that she really doesn't like it anymore and that she can't take it. Right. And unless we make it workable with her, then you've got a big problem because, as I understand it, you guys don't have the money to buy out Dave and Marie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you don't want to be bought out.
No.
So, this is about a coexistence that we need to make work. So far, and I'm sure you're going to think this unfair, but both Dave and Wendy have suggested that you might be the stumbling block to this. How do you feel about it?
I ain't got a problem with it. I really haven't got a problem with it. If she's focusing on what she's got to focus on. But if Marie doesn't do that role or do it right, then it'd be a waste.
But Alex can prove Marie's work in the office is anything but a waste of time. The information contained in her accounts is a real hotel heartbreaker.
This bottom line is where you succeed or fail.
A profitable restaurant should aim to spend 30% on staff and 30% on food, leaving a 40% profit. But the Lenchford's figures are nowhere near.
Your food cost was 50% of your sales. Your staff costs were 40% of your sales.
That leaves the Lenchford with just a 10% profit, not even enough to cover their expenses.
If you had done 30% food cost, 30% staff cost, and you'd made 40% profit, that would have translated to 65 grand.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
It's all there in black and white. By not letting Marie concentrate on the books, last year the couples missed out on a huge potential profit.
It'd be nice to have that sort of money coming in, because then we'd be able to staff things up much better.
And feel like you're paying yourselves and doing things properly and having fun with it again.
Yeah.
I think that what Marie does up there is central to what's happening here, because it's only with her help that you are going to make the tweaks necessary to make this profitable.
Okay.
Yeah?
At long last, Alex's message about the money seems to be getting through.
I've been telling you all this time, I've been doing these figures, and sometimes people's been thinking I'm wasting time in office, but I'm just glad that everybody realises that now and we can act on it now.
I don't think it's a case of we think you're skiving or anything
No,
like that.
I didn't say skiving.
We keep saying to you, you know, we know your job's as important as anybody else's.
I didn't say skiving, but I know that Ian likes me to be downstairs behind bar, so I think, oh, I better run downstairs.
But you shouldn't feel like that,
No.
and we keep telling you should not feel like that. So you need to, like, take that on board and, like, think, I'm not sat up here doing nothing, I am busy. And nobody thinks any different of you, Marie.
A new day and a reinvigorated Marie has been using her bookkeeping skills to good effect. She's given Alex a breakdown of all the meals sold in the restaurant. Now Alex wants Chef Stewart to devise a new pared-down menu based around his greatest hits.
Lynchford burger, yes. Battered cod, yes. Chef's pie of the day. Now, your pie of the day you didn't sell a lot of. 5 in 7 weeks. So, I like the idea of a pie, but I think you ought to do an old-fashioned standard and do it really well, like a steak and ale or a steak and kidney or something like that.
Right.
Your lasagna, over 7 weeks, you sold 29. So let's do a pasta dish, but let's make it lasagna, which people seem to like. And all I'm saying, darling, is give this a go. Anything that hasn't sold, we will be ruthless about, and we will put something else on that you want to try.
Change it, yeah.
Until we work out exactly what's going to work here.
Yeah.
So, with a new, simpler, more cost-effective menu in place, it's time to put the Lynchford Inn's restaurant back on the map. Alex has asked Chef Stewart to prepare 2 taster dishes, and she's taken Dave and Marie and Ian and Wendy to nearby Worcester Market to spread the word.
Here we are in Worcester Market, and we're here for one reason, which is to drum up some support for the Lynchford. Explaining the new menu comes on in a week and trying to get some enthusiasm going for your establishment. Now, come on now, go out and vlog it.
What's that? That's lasagna.
Lasagna.
So, you're going to try a nice bit of steak and kidney pie?
Would you like to try some of the food?
Oh,
Steak and kidney pie or lasagna? Yeah, I'll hold this. You just push that in. That was a big piece of meat. No, take it all. You're all right.
Well, have you tried a steak and kidney pie, girl? How can you sell it if you don't know whether it's good or not?
Is it nice?
That's really nice, yeah.
And surprise, surprise, the couples are working as a team.
What do you think to that?
It tastes good.
Tastes good?
Nice.
Very nice.
Any vegetarian?
Any vegetarian? Chicken lasagna?
How are you guys doing?
Very good.
all right.
Very good.
Very good.
People that tried it saying the food's lovely, which is a bonus.
It's not that bad, is
No, it's easy. I can do this for a living.
You know, people respond
They
to
do.
you talking to them, don't they? And it's, like I said, it's nice to have a product you can be proud of. Now, you've all tried that steak and kidney pie. It's good, isn't
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, very
Yes.
nice.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
So if we can get every dish on that new menu up to that quality, you've got a winner.
Their confidence boosted by the new menu, the couples are beginning to embrace the responsibilities Alex has assigned them. Wendy's got a firm grip of the wedding business,
Coming down and felt it.
and all 4 of them are communicating more effectively, though some decisions are still settled the old-fashioned way.
Tails.
Go on, Ian.
Tails never fails. It has this time.
It's a tail.
Alex's team have also arrived and set about brightening up the restaurant. Keen not to splash out on major refurbishments till the Lynchford Inn is profitable again, she's arranged for a simple, cost-effective alteration to revive the dark and dingy decor. But with Wendy and Ian still intent on a complete refit, will Alex's compromise have the desired effect?
Last time I left here, I was feeling pretty positive, but I hear since then there's been rumblings of discontent. I kid you not, there's still time for lynching at the Lenchford.
This is the first time Alex has seen the newly painted restaurant.
What do you think about this?
I don't like it.
Don't you?
No. It's an old worldy pub and you've got beams and you've got floor and it's been painted white from wood.
Right, any other comments?
To me, it looks like it's just come straight out of the box and been put in the centre of quite a tatty-looking room, an old dated room. And
Alex's frustration is mounting.
An
Ian
analysis
simply
on
doesn't
whether
believe it's the
7.95
finances of the restaurant rather than the decor that the couples should be focusing on.
I have to tell you that I never thought that your problems here were anything to do with decorating that needed doing. We can paint every single inch of this building, but it wouldn't have changed the basic facts that you weren't tracking things. Sunday lunches, for example. Have you done an analysis on whether the $7.95 you charge is a price that makes you a profit? I bet you haven't.
No, we haven't. Not at the moment.
This is much more of a problem than what colour the walls are. Because unless you're making money on people who come in here, all you're doing is spending or is outgoings. Spending money is never the bloody problem. We can all do that. It's making it that's difficult. The problem in this business is focusing on the customer and of making sure that once you get somebody through that door, not only do they have a fantastic experience and tell everybody about it, but you also make the profit that you should, so that you go home at the end of the day with something in your pocket and it feels like it's all been worthwhile.
I'm still not happy about the situation with the restaurant. I understand where she's coming from with to make the money, and it's the food and the atmosphere that gets people in there. But at the same time, as a second or a third time who comes and sits and eats, I personally may enjoy my food, but I'd be sat there looking, thinking, that's a bit tatty now. I can have a nice meal up the road at the other pub that's got a nice interior, nice food, nice atmosphere.
It's make or break for the Lenchford Inn. Alex must prove to the owners that a successful hotel and restaurant is about much more than just the decor. So she sets them a challenge. The two couples have just 24 hours to fill their restaurant for a special St. George's Day lunch. The event will promote the hotel. Its new menu, if successful, will give the four owners a much-needed confidence boost.
I want to see all of you working together. I want to see this place humming.
So it's onto the phones.
It's Dave at Lenchford.
Hello, Mrs. Jukes. It's Marie from the Lenchford. I'm just ringing up to see if you'd like to come out for lunch today.
And out on the streets again to drum up some trade.
If you are passing and you're interested, if you'd just like to pop in, I'll give you one of our brushes. OK. It's a cracking pub, especially when weather's like this. It's gorgeous.
To entice as many customers as possible, St. George's Day will be a special half-price lunch.
Hi ladies, how would you like lunch at the Lenchford? Have you ever heard of the Lenchford Inn in Shirley? Yes, we're doing a 50% discount on all lunches.
You probably will see us.
OK then, lovely. OK.
The big day arrives, an historic occasion for the nation and for the Lenchford Inn. But will Alex finally witness positive progress at the ailing hotel? After all the arguments, she's hoping to see the owners working in harmony and the kitchen pushed to its limits. More than 40 diners are expected, a crowd unheard of for a midweek lunchtime.
Just waiting for the onslaught.
So, let's make this a success. Let's all work together to try and make sure that your guests have a wonderful time today and that the buzz spreads about how great the Lenchford is.
Brilliant.
OK.
Yeah.
It's this way. Sorry? Table 11, it's this way.
I've got an order for you. 2 pork and apple baguettes.
Service gets off to a great start. The guests are flooding in.
Are you a fish cake and a pâté by any chance?
Orders are being taken.
Lunchtime, it's really nice to see it busy. It's normally very quiet on a Wednesday.
And so far, everyone's enjoying the new menu.
This has been really very nice, really excellent.
Well, so we get one thumbs up from
One
you,
thumbs
sir?
up. One thumbs up.
And another one for me, because it's very good.
How do you think it's going?
It's going very well. We'll see when the food comes out of the kitchen.
We will.
As to how long it's taking for one table.
On table 7's coming now.
But with a busy restaurant comes increased pressure. Pressure that quickly starts to mount.
Just taken an order on table 11 for 6 mushrooms, and now I've just been told we've only got 1.
Let me see what Stuart's got to say.
Why have we only got 1?
They may have a much smaller menu to cope with, but they're not used to having to cook for so many diners.
Check on, chef.
All right, you're on these checks for like 5 minutes, please.
5 minutes.
It's not long before things start to go wrong. Enter table 17, a fishing party hungry after a day on the river. They've arrived at the height of the rush and are kept waiting
What table number are we on?
and waiting.
15 minutes.
Table 17 aren't happy about the wait of the length of time for the food.
What time did we take their order?
We took their order at, look, about 20 minutes ago.
I hear you've been waiting for ages. Is it going all right?
They're not the only guests complaining. Elsewhere, a frozen prawn curry has been sent back twice.
Did she send it back again?
Yes, it came out. She sent it back because
It was
everybody.
cold.
No, because everybody had finished eating and she didn't want to eat on her own.
It had started so well. Despair for Alex. But when the going gets tough, the Lenchford Four are surprisingly strong.
What table number is it? 10. I'll go and find it. 11's coming now.
And then 2.
And then 2. Okay, thank
Holding
you.
their nerve, the two couples work together,
Okay, enjoy your
keep
meal.
smiling, and ride out the storm.
Grill, so it says there.
Despite the odds, they turn things around.
What is it? Which they just really praised
Yeah,
us.
it's just been up and said, yeah, full of compliments.
It's going a lot better than I expected. The 4 owners have cheered up and the waitresses are in a good mood and the kitchen's handling things quite well.
But it is nice to see it, it's buzzing.
They'd like the bill.
Right.
It's just coming.
Finally, the Lenchford's customers are all fed.
Service was very good. The starter was good.
I think the waitresses did well.
Oh, wonderful. They're very cheerful, perfect.
The fish was very good. I have to say, I had the fish and chips as a main course, which I couldn't fault. If you want it to be cooked, then you have to wait. I mean, that's the
Thank
thing.
you for being so understanding.
It's all right.
Good, I'm so pleased.
The food quality is excellent.
Definitely come here again.
We'll definitely come.
Bring some friends.
Really
Oh,
nice.
lovely.
Very enjoyable.
Lovely. Thank you.
Very nice.
I thought Wendy did well. I thought the waitresses did well. No one ran away crying.
In the face of a stiff challenge, Dave and Marie and Ian and Wendy have pulled together. They're tired, but inspired.
You know, well done to you. It was a really tough lunch. I could see that. You and the girls, I mean, goodness gracious me, they really pulled it out the hat. So, are you all going to stick at it? How do you feel at the moment?
Just need to stay positive and focused, and it will be a success.
I want to run a mile. No. We came down as a family and to be successful and we'll make a go at it.
Marie, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling quite positive at the moment.
We'll stick together and we'll fight the cause and hopefully make a success. We're halfway there, we just want to make some money now.
As a farewell gift, Alex hands over a present, hoping to convince the two couples never to call last orders on the Lenchford.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, yeah. And remember to ring it on time.
Bye, my darling. Mwah, thank you. And I wish you every single success.
The Lenchford Four are looking towards a brighter future. They're more professionally organised, have a closer eye on their finances, but more importantly, they still have their friendship.
Although we were close as a four before the hotel inspector came, I think that we're closer now. It's been a fantastic experience. Let's hope that it's worked for us in the future. I'm sure it will.
Finally, some light at the end of the tunnel. I've seen some individual strengths. They've shown they can work together, and I'm hoping that the revised menu and rota will actually make them some money. They have to stick to the new regime for it to work, though. The question is, do they have the balls for it?
Newquay, a popular tourist destination in Cornwall, home to sea, sand, surf, and the 3-star Godolphin Arms Hotel.
If I could describe this hotel as a coat, it would probably be a step up from an anorak.
Owned and run by 71-year-old Margaret Ashwood, informally known as Muff.
The nickname Muff, so embarrassing. I even get letters addressed to Muff Newquay, and, you know, they get straight here, so that's nice.
Muff has been the face of the Godolphin Arms for almost 30 years. Taking the role as hostess,
Do you want a basket of chips?
local sports sponsor,
What you know about football, you can write on the back of a stamp.
and employer of more than 20 loyal staff.
We are a family. I rely so much on all the staff. I mean, Sue's been with me for, I don't know, 100 years, bless her.
1988, I started working here, and I'm still here.
The Godolphin has 30 bedrooms, priced at just £25 per night for bed and breakfast.
This is one of our smaller double rooms. So you can get in here and you can have a shower, and you can probably sit on the loo at the same time.
The hotel also comes equipped with a 60-seater restaurant and a public lounge area.
It used to say TV lounge, right?
Which is why there's a nail hole there.
And Chrissy Harrold, bless him, cut off TV and put lounge because we haven't a television in it any longer.
With the garden providing a hidden glimpse of Cornish splendour.
Of course, in the summer, the garden's so beautiful, isn't it? It's a joy to be in, isn't it? It really is.
The hotel's busy bar, open to locals and guests, also doubles as Muff's office, which she shares with Ollie the parrot.
This is where I hold court every day. Queen Muff.
This is not just Muff's business, this is her home. That is where everybody in the whole town expects to see Muff.
But despite Muff's best efforts, the business has taken a dive.
Hello.
With the hotel having to rely on budget, low-margin coach tours to stay afloat. Muff has found the burden of running the Godolphin Arms even harder to shoulder after the loss of her husband 7 years ago.
He was lovely with people. He was very Cornish, bless him. And now it's me sort of on my own.
With scarce profits and little money in the bank, Muff is finding it hard to make ends meet.
I suppose we've been the same price for the last 2 or 3 years. But then it's so hard for people to find the money to come away now. I'm not into screwing people at all.
If she can't turn things around, Muff and her staff could soon find the Godolphin Arms on its knees.
I do worry about our future. If we carry on the way we're carrying on now, it means I would have to sell the business. You know, I've got 22 staff here in the summer, and that means their jobs.
Everything we do for Muff.
And I've always thought, you know, that I would be carried out of here in a box. That's the way I want it. I don't want to sell because it's my life.
Enter the hotel inspector. Can renowned hotelier Alex Polizzi help keep Muff's head above water?
Right, and go and placate the chef, because apparently he's in a mood this morning.
Cornwall continues to be a very popular, cheap holiday destination. There is hotel after B&B as far as the eye can see in Newquay, which accounts for the competition there is for prices and why everything here seems to be incredibly cheap.
If Alex came in here and started slating everything, I think I'd probably lamp her one.
Well, this place, the Godolphin Arms, looks pretty run down. It needs a lot of maintenance done on the outside.
There's never quite enough money coming in to do all the things that you desperately want to do.
I can't say that of all the places I've been to that this is the one that really floats my boat.
To find out why the hotel is failing, Alex will stay the night.
Hello, Alex. How nice to see you.
Hi, Muff. How are you?
I'm fine, love, yes.
Are you fully booked at the moment?
Yes, we've got a full coach in this week, so we are a little bit chock-a-block. But,
OK. I'll have a look around and then I'll come and have a proper chat with you.
OK,
Thank you.
It's not long before Alex discovers the tired and outdated decor continues inside the hotel too.
Well, this is a very old-fashioned dining room. I mean, I can't say it's a pretty room. There's orange curtains and orange tablecloths on the table. This carpet, which must have been laid at least 30 years ago. Honestly, I'm completely gobsmacked. I'm sure this did better 25 years ago than it does now, because actually people's expectations were much lower.
Things have been running a certain way for so many years and it's worked all right, so you just carry on doing it that way.
I mean, that has to be insane in the membrane, doesn't it?
The lounge area also fails to make sense to the hotel inspector.
So, this must have been the TV lounge, probably in an era when TVs weren't as readily available and they weren't in the bedroom. Now, what use is this room now? It is pretty depressing. I mean, obviously, she'd like to suggest that this is a reading room, or maybe people play bridge in here. But either way, it doesn't add much to the hotel, does it?
But at least the Godolphin's bedrooms do offer a welcome experience.
Moth has very high standards. It's got to be clean. It's got to be all fresh. It's got to be nice.
They're pretty basic, but they do have everything in that you need. Absolutely perfect. Whatever the problems are at this hotel, they definitely aren't anything to do with housekeeping.
It's just what we do. We clean. We're good scrubbers.
She's got coach parties in, which are renowned for paying tuppence halfpenny and expecting the earth. The rooms are small. It isn't a glamorous building, but really you get a lot more than you'd think you're paying for. I'm sure that most coach parties think they've died and gone to heaven.
To check whether Muff's guests are getting much more than they bargained for, Alex joins a coach tour for their three-course dinner.
There we are, OK, no problem.
Well, this soup is really good. It's not a cheap thing out of the tin. It's proper soup, but there's too much of it. Already I'm thinking that.
Our accountants always said that over the years you spend far too much on food, but to me that's important because that's just a big part of people's holidays.
Lovely, thanks, love. Enjoy your dinner.
I will. It's really well cooked. I'm just trying to work out if everyone's getting as many vegetables as me. I don't know how she can put all this in front of you, as well as breakfast and a bed. Is she actually making any money?
Alex has discovered a bargain budget hotel providing a premium service. With dinner, entertainment, bed and breakfast all thrown in, Alex wants to know if Muff can make the numbers add up.
What do you think you make per person per night profit? Do you think you make a profit?
I would say that we'd probably break even.
But you do realise that the kind of aim to being in business is to make
It's to make money.
Before we meet tomorrow, do you think you would do me an analysis take tonight's menu, work out what that menu has cost you to put on the table, what clean sheets cost you to launder, what it costs to service a room. I'd like to shock you a bit and see what kind of profit you make.
That'll be painful.
Over the years, it seems Muff has taken her eye off the ball and could be leading the Godolphin Arms down a blind alley.
Muff doesn't really have an approach to business. She just keeps the wheels turning. But it is obvious that someone has got to give her some business sense. I'm glad I'm here before it's too late.
With the hotel relying on low-margin coach tours, Alex wants Muff and duty manager Denise to check if the numbers are adding up.
So you've got 2 sets.
So are these figures?
Including that?
Including that?
Yeah.
What are they thinking?
She's desperate to keep this place going. She's desperate for everyone to keep their jobs. I've got to find a way to make her be a lot more businesslike and make some tough decisions. Obviously, really, she's needed to make for a while.
God, if I could give it away for free, I would do.
Alex is worried that Muff's hospitality may be more generous than her bargain basement rates allow. With the hotel leaking money, Alex is keen to plug the holes, starting with the extras in the bedrooms.
Works out 9p a sachet.
How many of them get used, interestingly?
Interestingly, not all of them, Alex. That's the thing.
The next one is teas and coffees. How many of them do they get each?
They get 4 teas, 4 coffees, say 10 sachets of milk.
I've used this phrase before, but one has to embrace one's budget hotel status, I think.
It's a nice...
Darling, of course it's nice. I'm not denying that. Like, it's nice to have a sheet and a duvet. You're doing an amazing job, but unfortunately, the bottom line isn't showing that. So it's not like I'm picking on any particular department, but it's just that I need to look at it every
make money.
single... Yes.
I'm here to make some money.
Good.
The need to improve the bottom line is made even clearer as Alex takes breakfast in the Godolphin's old-fashioned dining room.
We just have a fairly old, but slightly knackered building. The only way to upkeep an ageing building is to make enough money to keep on maintaining it and improving it. And instead, with the profit margin constantly being shaved, it's becoming harder and harder to compete.
With the numbers crunched, Muff has calculated the income she gets from each coach tour guest, and the news isn't good.
Right, doll, so what have you discovered about your room costs?
Well, that in actual fact, we're running at a loss. Good start, isn't it? We're actually being offered £14.25 a night, and it's costing us £16.39 a night, so per person. So you're actually sort of losing money on a weekly basis. And I'm going to lose such good staff because I can't employ them all.
With the hotel losing money each week, it's clear changes need to be made if the business is to survive. First, with coach parties paying rock-bottom prices, Alex wants Muff to start attracting some of Newquay's more profitable visitors.
I'm absolutely convinced that part of this painful process of change is going to involve having to get more private customers.
Yes.
But to get customers in, we are going to have to tackle marketing. You need to see what else is out there. You need to do some research yourself.
To help Muff migrate from coach parties to the more competitive family market, Alex will update some of the hotel's outdated decor.
It's very important about the first impressions that you get when you arrive somewhere. So I thought I would make this dining room over for you. So that will be nice.
Oh my God, that would be absolutely wonderful.
Also, I'm going to try and do something with the immediate hotel reception.
Alex has agreed to give the hotel a facelift, but Muff has got to do her bit to raise profits too, starting with trimming costs and charging for extras.
You're quite generous in the bedrooms. Body wash, shampoo. You put a lot of coffee and teas, sachets in a room.
Yes.
A lot of sugar, a lot of milk. It doesn't seem right that you're not charging for Wi-Fi. Any frills and furbelows have to be paid for. I think that is the new attitude. I know it's only pennies, but when you're only making pennies, you know, why should someone get something for nothing? You come here and you stay for 4 days, you can use your towel for 4 days.
You wouldn't want them to have their towels for the whole 4 days.
All extras from now on are going to be paid for. Anyone who asks for an extra towel is going to have to pay for it.
Gosh, it seems very harsh.
It's not just the pricing structure Alex wants to change. She wants Muff to toughen up and start becoming more businesslike if the hotel's going to survive.
It's just time for you to get ruthless. I mean, you cannot run your business at a loss.
No, obviously.
So this is year 0.
For the sake of my staff and for myself and for the business, I can't go on like this. I've got to make enough money to make it viable.
Alex's warning is clear. If Muff doesn't change her ways, she's going to lose both her staff and her business. A future that's clearly too painful to bear.
It's going to be difficult for Muff to adjust to the new circumstances because she has been running this place in the same way for so long, and this is a way she's comfortable.
It's over there. Oh, my God. Don't worry about her.
She has got to stop the rot somewhere because actually otherwise she isn't going to have a business.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
As part of the process of becoming more businesslike, Alex wants Muff to do some research into what other similar hotels offer their guests. So Muff prepares to hit the road.
Mummy's going away for a couple of days, so you've got to stop in your cage because your Auntie Tan's looking after you.
I think it's important for every hotelier to know what their competition is. It's particularly important for Muff to know what else is out there because it's been so long since she ever got winkled out of this environment.
Nightie, wash bag, makeup.
Godolphin Arms is like Muff's snail shell, and she's just got to see what other people are doing and what other people are doing better than her and worse than her.
Accompanied by granddaughter Stevie, Muff heads up the coast to the North Devon town of Ilfracombe to visit the Osborne Hotel. The Osborne is a family-owned hotel, similar in scale to the Godolphin Arms, catering to both coach tours and private guests. But there's one big difference. The Osborne makes a profit.
Oh, this is nice.
What interests me is whether other hotels are doing what I've suggested that Muff should do. Are they charging for extras? What are their portion sizes like? What's their food offering like? You know, I want to make sure that Muff is in line with other 3-star hotels who are receiving the same kind of money.
Look down the bog, because Sue said check their bogs. Absolutely spotless. Nothing wrong with that at all.
They've only got one soap each instead of all the shower gels and everything else that we had.
I suppose we're perhaps a little bit more modern, really. That's the difference.
I'm not sending her on just a trip away. I'm asking her to do some proper research.
No, look, they've just got plain tea bags. 2, 4 and 6 sugars.
And hopefully to refresh her mind and get some new ideas.
There are tea and coffee making facilities in your room, which are replenished daily. Extra packs available from the Porter's Lodge, 50p. This is a nice idea.
Yes,
see, this is what we want. Meet the team. My God, there's a few pages.
Over dinner, Muff continues her investigation and finds more evidence of where the Godolphin could make cutbacks.
We do bigger portions. Is it really necessary? There are ways we could tighten up a bit.
Back in Newquay, Muff is keen to put her findings into action. Inspired by the Osbornes' warm welcome, she wants to create a brochure of her own.
Come on, let's have a smile ready for our brochure.
No, come on, don't.
3, 2, 1.
Take the picture. It's crap.
Let's do it all.
Cancel. Cancel.
Delete.
And Muff's no longer so generous in the bedroom.
Give them 2 of each now. 2 coffees, 2 teas, 4 creams, 6 sugars. We used to give them 4 coffees, 4 teas, 10 creams, and a big handful of sugar. We're definitely saving money. We are definitely saving money.
Muff might have got tough with teas and coffees, but she's still finding it hard to be hard-nosed on charging for extras.
One of Alex's big things, of course, was charging for extras. I think I've got a bit of a fight on my hand there with her over that, really.
I think it's going to be pretty hard for Muff to change her ways because she's been running the Godolphin in a way that's completely ingrained in her for so many years.
The big bugbear is the towels, because I just can't bring myself to charge for towels somehow. It doesn't seem quite right.
She's not a ruthless businesswoman. She never will be. She's just Muff. She's stuck in the mud, and that's it.
So immediately when people arrive, they know who they are talking to.
I really like that idea.
Good idea, isn't it? Yes.
Bar opening time. Extras.
Extras, yes. I'm not mad keen on extras.
Darling,
really.
you said to me last time that you were going to bite this bullet.
Yes, I've half bitten it.
I don't see anything about Wi-Fi.
Well, no, that was one of the things I was going to discuss with you, actually, because I haven't the foggiest idea. What do you charge? I thought perhaps £1 for that. Don't look at me like that.
I think at least £2 and more like £5, darling. Any price you have, I'm going to double it.
It's clear that Muff has some way to go before she becomes the savvy businesswoman Alex feels the hotel needs. If the Godolphin's going to start turning a profit, Muff must make her hotel a step on Newquay's tourist trail.
One segment of the market that I would love Muff to attract more of is families with young children. So I'm taking her to attractions that are open year-round and that are particularly attractive to children. I am hoping that she's going to come back with agreements with some of these local attractions that guests who stay in the Godolphin will get better deals, and then she can package it all up to make a really appealing stay here.
First stop on Muff's business trip, Newquay Zoo, which welcomes hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. Can Muff make a splash, or will she be out of her depth?
We do have quite a lot of families that come in July and August, mainly, obviously the school holidays. But, you know, it's quite expensive for a family day out, whatever they do. And
why don't you ask what you can get? Talk turkey.
Ruthless, Nan, ruthless.
Come on, you've got to try.
Voila.
Don't be embarrassed about talking money. It's so English. I know refusal often offends, but honestly, you don't ask, you don't get. I think she needs to be encouraged to ask the tough questions, because at the end of the day, the worst thing that anyone will say to her is no.
If you could help us in some way.
But I don't see why we couldn't do it for £40 for you, something really exclusive.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
It's not quite the power negotiation Alex was hoping for, but with one deal down, will Muff be more of a shark at the Sea Life Centre?
So, darling, start your little spiel.
I really wanted to know, we have a lot of families in July and August, and it's just...
Throughout the year.
Sorry. We're trying to attract more families throughout the year to the Godolphin. I could actually do with her standing behind me sort of 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, with a shop, cattle prod. Do you do sort of packages, or...?
We are really very adaptable.
She's seen how easy it is, and I think that will encourage her enormously.
With Muff now on a roll, Alex wants her to prove she can strike a deal on her own at the local golf course.
We have people all year round, you know, it is not just in the height of the summer. Is there any way we could offer families that combines both the parts of our trade?
What we can do is offer you what we call our happy hour price.
Oh, gosh.
Which is very good.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
I think we could probably offer you that price all day long then.
Deal.
Done.
Cheers.
With the third deal in hand, Muff has proved she does have at least half an eye for business.
Well, although I can't quite say that you were as ruthless as I wanted you to be, you didn't do badly. And you hit your stride, especially when you see how willing people are to make deals.
I was quite amazed that, that people are prepared to give you concessions.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. Think of everyone else that you can talk to.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's the point. The point is that, if you don't ask, you don't get.
You don't get.
You need to be quite proactive in these things.
Very much so.
Alex now wants Muff to use some of the discounts she's gained to create an attractive deal for families.
I would like you to put together a couple of packages and do it as a package price. And I'm going to get people to come and have that experience here.
That is the way forward, isn't it?
It is the way
it is.
Alex is hoping that Muff's new business brain can come up with a budget-busting package to tempt tourists to her hotel.
There are so many businesses that I can go to in Newquay and make things exciting for people to come and stay, and hopefully make a bit of a profit, which would be wonderful.
But it'll have to be good, as Alex is inviting a group of travel journalists to write about the experience.
What about that? That train that
The
goes
noddy train. Oh, that'd be good.
Don't even think about her not making money, because she'd kill me, wouldn't she? I couldn't stand her sitting there nagging me if I didn't, so I will do it with the idea, first and foremost, of making a profit.
With profit no longer a dirty word at the Godolphin, Muff has finally agreed to start charging for extras.
Dee? Yeah? Alex wants us to do a sign for the Wi-Fi.
Right.
And then it's what we're going to charge. I think £2. Does that sound reasonable? Sounds actually exorbitant.
With the families about to arrive to road test Muff's new packages, Alex is back, and the welcome is already a lot warmer. Guests were once greeted by a tired and outdated reception area. Now Alex has transformed it. A new floor and neutral wall colours offer a more modern first impression.
Hi,
Hello, lovely.
darling.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm fine.
This looks nice, doesn't it?
Doesn't it look different? I'm absolutely thrilled to bits
Oh, are
with it.
you?
Yes, I am. It's lovely.
I'm hoping that I'm going to be even more thrilled when I see the dining room.
I'm hoping I'm going to be more thrilled when I see the dining room.
To help drag the hotel into the 21st century, the dining room has also been given a new lease of life. Gone the 70s carpet and colour-clashing curtains. In their place, a new floor and colour scheme, complemented by contemporary tables and chairs, more befitting the modern tourist.
Come into your new dining room.
Oh, my God.
Does it look you happy
Oh,
with
doesn't it look gorgeous? Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. And the floor.
Isn't the floor beautiful?
That is... I would never have dreamt of having flooring like that in. That's stunning.
With the hotel more up to date, Alex wants to know if Muff is acting more like a modern businesswoman.
It's getting there with her. She is charging more.
For Wi-Fi?
It's in the booklets. We've started it.
But? Has anyone actually charged
no,
it yet?
because it only started yesterday.
Come here, come here. So I haven't quite understood. Are you actually charging for extras or not?
Of course we are. We are charging for teas and coffees.
Yeah.
Jibbing a bit about the towels.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you showed Alex
Definitely.
the money pot?
The money
See,
pot.
look, the money pot's there. Yay!
Fine.
There we go. So we have started,
I'm
haven't we?
really
Yes.
happy about that. And that's easy, isn't it?
It is, yes. I don't feel bad about that at all. Feel slightly bad about something.
Everything that you do, you have to make a profit on. I know I've become boring about this.
Yeah,
but I am evangelical about it.
It's obvious, isn't it?
You know, darling, there's no shame. It isn't profiteering. God knows you're the opposite. You're the Mother Teresa of the hotel world.
Oh my God.
If I leave you with only 2 lessons, I want it to be the fact that profit is not a 4-letter word.
Yes.
Yes, and that you are committed to charging for extras.
Yes.
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 Please.
Yes, definitely.
Muff's money pot might be small change for now, but Alex hopes it's going to lead to some bigger profits.
I think she's quite proud of herself, but honestly, she's got some way to go before I'll be truly convinced that she's learnt her lessons.
As guests check in to sample Muff's package,
we've got a booking under the name of Cox. 3 singles, is it?
Alex is worried Muff might still not be tough enough.
She still isn't a particularly brilliant salesperson for her own hotel. You know, she's embarrassed about going around saying, well, you know, we really offer some of the best accommodation that Newquay has to provide at this price, at this level. And that's something that she's just got to bully up about.
Hello.
Let's check in, please.
Let's get you a key. And anything you want while you're here, just let us know.
Okay.
Okay.
Muff has organised a special deal that includes bed, breakfast, dinner and a barbecue lunch, combined with a trip to a local attraction, in the hope of enticing some of the thousands of families who flock to Newquay's shores all year round.
It's a big shark, though. Do you want to see the big shark? It might eat your face.
It's supposed to showcase the fact that you can stay at this budget hotel, have good food, have lovely people looking after you, and visit lots of the attractions at a better price. So this is a package deal we're offering that should be appealing to young families.
After spending the night, there's a chance to sample breakfast in Alex's newly renovated restaurant.
It's very nice.
It does look nice, doesn't it?
Oh, smashing.
Although Muff may have reined in the portion sizes, there are no complaints from the guests. The breakfast has gone down well. Now it's time for Muff to reveal what the rest of the day holds in store.
Hello, everybody. Absolutely lovely to see you all. We've got a nice day arranged for you all. We're starting off going out on the land train that goes all the way around Newquay. You're going to come back, we're going to have a barbecue in the garden, and after you've had your barbecue, we've got a really lovely surprise. We've got Newquay Zoo coming up here, bringing some of their animals up. So I don't know whether it's going to be lions and tigers or what it's going to be.
As part of her package deal, Muff has arranged for her guests to sample a taste of what Newquay has to offer.
Make sure you wave to everybody when you're on the train.
She's hoping the families will enjoy their experience and give a good review to the 3 travel journalists Alex has invited for lunch. But the reviews are only part of the story. The event has to make a profit. Alex wants to check Muff has done her sums.
And have you costed all this out?
Yes, absolutely, down to the last penny.
Oh, yes, I'm sure, darling. You with your
Yes.
ruthless businesswoman head on.
Totally. Bed, breakfast, evening meal, we've costed in the price of the train.
Yeah. And what's
down
it
to the
coming
last
out
penny.
as?
£40.
£40, that's an absolute bargain. How have you broken that down?
Bed, breakfast and evening meal.
Yeah.
£34.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard, everyone. Keep head and arms inside the train.
£5 for the train.
Yeah.
If you look back over your shoulder, you can see the harbour back there in the corner of the bay.
And £1 per person for the minibuses to run them backwards and forwards. So.
Do you make any profit on that?
Yes.
OK, fantastic.
Some local chieftain was buried under that mound 3,500 to 4,000 years ago.
Muff's plan is to end the package with a barbecue. It's the last thing the families will experience before giving their feedback to the journalists. It's vital everything goes without a hitch.
Right. Do you know where the barbecue tongs and everything are? Because they were there when we first came in the kitchen.
taken them out.
Well, not there.
I think it's all fine. I'm just panicking slightly now about getting the barbecue out because I don't want people hanging around waiting.
It's not a problem, we've got her.
Nan's all right, she's a bit stressed.
Hopefully the journalists will be encouraged and convinced enough and will therefore be able to write something to puff this place a bit because frankly, Muff, like everybody, needs all the help she can get.
Fresh from the train tour, the hungry guests return. But with the journalists eager to review the event, things aren't quite on track in the kitchen.
One lady, gluten-free sausages.
I haven't got gluten-free sausages.
Gluten-free ciabatta roll.
With the barbecue lunch behind schedule,
They've waited now like nearly an hour. All the pots in there are empty from their crisps and everything they've had, so
they're obviously starving.
they're hungry.
You hungry, Molly? I know, sorry, darling.
She's fighting her way to the front of the queue.
You'll be waiting, well, not long now.
Alex decides to take charge.
I think the food's ready, darling. Can we tell them to get eating?
I think we should do. We don't want them waiting any longer, do we?
OK, good.
Now the barbecue's finally ready, the families can start tucking in. Muff's called upon some of her new partners, the local zoo and aquarium,
This is Alvin the striped skunk.
to make sure the families have a really wild time.
Gaily. Is he warm or cold?
They've been very hospitable, very friendly, very accommodating, and nothing was too much trouble.
We've had a great time. It's something we definitely recommend to other people, and you couldn't get a warmer welcome, I don't think.
So satisfied customers?
Very satisfied. Yeah. 10 out of 10.
All right. Excellent.
He's having a bit of a sniff of you, isn't he? Remember, watch his teeth.
So has Muff done enough to impress the journalists to write a positive review of the new family-friendly Godolphin Arms?
What have you discovered?
Value for money, absolutely exceptional. That's what everybody was saying. As soon as they came in, such a heartwarming welcome, and they loved it.
Laying on the entertainment is what families would really enjoy, having that rolled into the price. So they get a budget family holiday, but they know what they're spending going out for the day as well. Is a fantastic idea.
Muff has got the thumbs up from the journalists, but Alex is keen to make sure the good work doesn't end here.
It's time for me to say goodbye. But I want you to keep on forging business links. You've seen how eager all these people are to do deals with you.
Absolutely. We have got to push this, haven't we? Definitely, because it's wonderful. With the feedback we've had today, I mean, obviously, it does work, doesn't it? So,
it does work, darling, and you've heard a lot of nice things about your hotel.
Yes, which is so lovely.
Which is nice.
Yes.
Thanks, darling.
Bless you.
I thought today went incredibly well. It's nice to see Muff being so positive. It's done her good. It's shaken her out of her torpor. I'm sure that Muff is now going to start making more and more deals. She's seen how easy it is, and I think that will encourage her enormously.
I do believe that we have undervalued ourselves and that there's nothing wrong with charging a sensible price, you know, for what we offer. So I will be more sensible in that direction, definitely in the future.
In the south of England, deep in the heart of the New Forest, lies Woodlands Lodge, a 16-bedroom country house hotel. First-time hoteliers David and Jenny Norbury bought the place 10 years ago.
Jenny had always had an interest in hotel and catering, and I think I promised her that, one day when I'm rich, I'll get you on.
For years, they've traded the hotel on its rural location, a reputation for good food, and its country house charm. But the restaurant recently lost its coveted AA rosette, and the hotel's elegance is beginning to date. Hotels of Woodlands calibre should be aiming at a turnover of around £800,000, but it falls considerably short.
Our overall turnover is a bit over 500,000. We do make a bit of a profit, but not an awful lot.
To add to their troubles, in 6 months' time, the Woodlands Lodge Hotel will have an illustrious new neighbour muscling in on their previously unchallenged turf. The new kid on the block is Hotel Terravina. It's the brainchild of Gerard Bassett, co-founder of the Hotel du Vin Group. It's his first venture since selling his share of the award-winning chain. And with an investment of £2.5 million, the arrival of the new hotel is a terrifying prospect for Woodlands, as hotel manager John is painfully aware.
We have got to get our act together very, very swiftly indeed.
With a budget of £1.4 million to spend on refurbishments alone, Terravina could well eclipse its older, shabbier rival.
This is an important time. We've got to pull our socks up and make sure things get sorted out.
The look of Woodlands has barely changed in a quarter of a century. The interior decor is dominated by a plethora of OTT wallpapers and whirlpool baths, the height of country house chic 20 years ago.
Each bedroom is totally individual. Wallpaper on every wall and ceiling. I think to an extent you either love it or hate it.
But customers who hate it are unlikely to return, a risky strategy for a hotel with a stylish new rival on its doorstep. So they've enlisted the help of hotel authority Ruth Watson. With the Woodlands facing a fight for survival, they're hoping she will formulate their battle plan.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
I'm John.
I'm having a little laugh about your sign. I love it.
Oh,
Do
yes.
not feed the sheep. That's the only hotel I've ever been to that's got that on its reception.
Yeah, we have two sheep outside. One's called Minty and one's called Rambo.
Woodlands Lodge is run by a committee of 3, owners Jenny and David and hotel manager John. Ruth sits the trio down in the hotel's lounge to discover more about the business.
So, David and Jenny, you've been here 10 years?
That's right.
We first came on an August day. The ponies were in the paddock and the gardens were in full bloom. And
you fell in love with it, did you?
I loved it from day one.
I mean, my first impression is the decor is very fresh and very nicely maintained, but rather old-fashioned in style. I thought the hallway was over-traditional, to put it kindly. When I come in here, I think this is ghastly.
We all agree. You're telling us nothing new there.
It's kind of like sort of old ladies' underwear or something.
It's
I mean, this sort of
awful.
thing.
I've hated it since the day we moved in. We've still got some more rooms to do up. I'd be very disappointed at a lot of our bathrooms if I went in.
Have you got a budget for investment in repairs and refurbishments?
Something like that's quite a major thing because we've got quite well-equipped bathrooms with spa baths and showers, and so it's going to be quite a substantial investment.
The refurbishment of the bathrooms may be a bone of contention, but Ruth is keen to find out more about their recent problems in the restaurant.
Now, the bad news was the restaurant lost its rosette in the last guide, didn't it? What do you put the loss of rosette down to?
I think the criticisms that were levelled against us was that the flavours were too complex.
When did you last eat in the restaurant?
I never have. It's a terrible thing
You
to
are
say.
joking.
No, I never, because I'm usually working in it.
That's terrible.
I know it is.
You really can't run a restaurant without knowing something about how it tastes.
Later, Ruth will have dinner to assess the food for herself. But first, it's time to check out her room for the night. One of Woodland's selling point is its dogs are welcome policy, and Ruth has brought her 2 wire-haired fox terriers along for the ride.
Well, who have we here?
It's a very over-enthusiastic Annie.
Oh, it's
And
Annie.
a much better behaved Jack.
He's kept just on the side.
As part of her investigation, Ruth and her 2 dogs will road test a room.
Oh, what a lot of space.
Hotel manager John has put her in one of their 2 deluxe suites, priced at £206, a high tariff, but comparable with other New Forest hotels.
It's all very clean and well maintained, and you can't complain about any of that, but it is terribly old-fashioned, really, the decor. There's nothing intrinsically vile, but I want a bit of sheesh, a bit of chic, a bit of luxury. I don't think this is offering it. Well, the first thing that strikes one's eyes is the decor. This rather vile hotel furniture, which was not very nice 20 years ago when it was first delivered to this room. You know, if I was an 80-year-old living in a residential home in Bexhill-on-Sea, I'd probably think this was the height of glamour, but I'm not, and I don't. Do I want a pale peach sunken whirlpool bath? Does anyone? Is this meant to be the acme of romance for honeymooners? I don't think so.
Ruth is obviously unimpressed. 25 years ago, the Woodlands may have been the height of sophistication, but now they've fallen behind the times.
I'm sure she'll find some things, but yes, that's why we got her here.
This shower is in the hallway.
We want to sort of find the things that we overlook.
I mean, what are they doing? Why would you put a shower in a hallway?
Next in line, room 1, a standard double on the top floor, priced at £130.
Do you think this is what Dante had in mind when he talked about the seventh circle of hell? It would be like waking up in a herbaceous border. This is a flower too many.
The rooms at Woodlands are frighteningly antiquated. Time to assess the hotel's restaurant. The cornerstone of the business, it recently lost its AA rosette. For this struggling country hotel, having an award-winning restaurant will be vital. Plaudits attract new business, and a healthy restaurant could make all the difference when bookings are low.
I would be nervous at not having a rosette, and I would hate people not to associate us with that standard.
As part of their drive to regain the vital rosette, the management team have employed a new chef. Stuart has only been at Woodlands for the last few weeks, but hotel manager John is convinced he's the right man for the chef's job.
No, I'm confident. I've got a very good chef. He's producing some very good food, and I'm hoping that Ruth is going to be impressed. I'm going to be bitterly disappointed if she isn't.
Well, it's like every traditional dining room you've ever seen in any provincial English hotel anywhere in the world that hasn't been decorated for the last 25 years.
Hello, Ruth. Nice to see you.
Tonight, Stuart will cook for Ruth and John, who will dine in his own restaurant for the very first time.
Thank you.
In the kitchen, Chef Stuart waits for the all-important order. But before his food is scrutinised, Ruth is unhappy about the menus.
When did you last think of changing these folders?
These we brought in 2 years ago.
That makes me feel slightly miserable. It just feels very much like a really trad, boring hotel restaurant.
Check one, please, Stuart. One guinea fowl, one lamb, please. Thank you. Cheers, Mark.
With the order in, Stuart must now prove to Ruth that he is the right man to win back the lost rosette. But food isn't the only important factor. There's also the restaurant's ambience.
Now, what happens when you've got customers sitting here? Because that would drive me demented, that door going back and forth. A romantic dinner with that going... It's like somebody peeling sellotape off something.
Yes.
On the other side of the noisy kitchen door, the pressure's on. Not having had time to make his mark, Stuart is cooking meals from the hotel's existing menu. Guinea fowl for Ruth and lamb for John, accompanied by fresh vegetables.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The restaurant has the capacity for 30 covers.
Lovely. Thank you very much indeed, Matt. That was lovely.
In the past, it's been a successful part of the business, but recently bookings have slumped.
Thank you. Thank you.
And tonight, the restaurant is almost empty.
Red cabbage, I'm telling you here now, I loathe. It's all right.
No, that's a pleasant surprise.
Guinea fowl's a little dry, which is always the problem with guinea fowl because it doesn't have a great deal of fat, and this is could be a bit juicier, I have to say.
Sweet sauces in particular, I think, go quite nicely with it.
Great flavour, the guinea fowl, though. Very good.
An award-winning food writer, cook and restaurateur, Ruth has a good idea what the Rosette inspectors are looking for. But will she think Chef Stewart is on the right track?
I think it's slightly gauche in the presentation. I think there's some good flavours in there, but I think it probably needs to be refined a little bit. Slightly too homely, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Very delicately put.
The following morning, and Ruth is waking up with her dogs after a night's sleep.
There are a number of deficiencies in this room. The bathroom is a complete farce. I don't know how sprightly you have to be to want to descend into the whirlpool, but I think it's quite dangerous. The floor gets very, very slippy and very wet. But the real high spot is that when you turn on the shower, both the overhead shower and the handheld shower come on at once, which makes for a very interesting experience.
It's time for Ruth to reveal her findings to David and John. With Jenny conspicuous in her absence, Ruth sits the two men down in the restaurant. And to begin with, she's easing them in gently.
If we start with the best bit about this, it's undoubtedly the building and its location itself. I mean, it's a wonderful spot, and that's such a huge plus. But there's always a but.
I was waiting for the but.
The but. I've had a really good look round. I think I've seen practically all the bedrooms now, obviously slept in one. There were too many deficiencies in the room, not least of all the fact that the decor is very dated. People come with an expectation. I don't think you're delivering the product. You know, you've fallen so far behind in this. You know, going around those bedrooms, I did feel like I was in time warp land, you know?
Yes.
Ruth may be worried by the decor in the bedrooms, but it's the bathrooms that trouble her the most, and she's not alone.
I heard earlier from Jenny that she hates the bathroom. She'd love to do something about it.
I think we're very conscious of the bathrooms. One of the things is it's capital to get that done, though, as David will tell you. They are very expensive to put right.
Well, I think the one that I was in is very expensive because you've got a bloody great hole in the ground to fill for a start.
It's the swimming pool, not a hole in the ground.
Exactly. But if I can just impress you hugely about that bathroom, I actually found it impossible to use. I would say that over a 2 or 3 year period, every single bedroom and bathroom should be done up.
Would you recommend keeping the whirlpool baths?
No, I would not. Absolutely would not.
You don't think that's a unique selling point, though, for this hotel?
I think it's a unique losing point, yes.
Updating all of the hotel's bedrooms and bathrooms is a daunting prospect, but Ruth wants to concentrate on one room at a time. With the impending completion of the new hotel next door, it's vital Woodlands doesn't get left behind.
You've got this competition coming up. I cannot think that it won't be cutting edge in every way, shape and form, from restaurant through to bathrooms and bedrooms. This is another reason why I would like you to start as quickly as possible so that we get one room that you can show people this is what it's going to look like. This is the way we're going with this hotel.
So which room are you proposing?
It would be very sensible to start with room 1.
Interesting. Yes.
Ruth also believes that Woodlands needs to regain its rosette if it isn't going to get lost in the forest. Terravina will undoubtedly offer vibrant, cutting-edge cuisine, and without a rosette, Woodlands could well be overshadowed. There's a huge weight of responsibility resting on the shoulders of the new chef, Stewart.
So, you've taken on the role of head chef?
I have, yeah. I walked into a bit of a situation, but yeah, I've taken it on and hoping to grab it by the horns and pull it forward and see what we can do with it.
I call that energy.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do, so yeah.
Now, one of the biggest sadnesses, I would say, for David and Jenny and John was that they lost the AA Rosette.
Yeah.
How much is that in your mind about regaining it?
I think, it's very much at the forefront of my mind. I think it's what I'm here to achieve. I think it's easily achievable with bringing in a new spring menu. We've got the skills, we've got the energy, we've got the enthusiasm, we want to do it. Yeah, it'd be very easy to get the Rosette, I think, within 6 months.
So Ruth has left Stewart to come up with a new and exciting menu that will please the customers and impress an inspector enough to win back the lost Rosette. That will in turn create interest in the hotel and increase the turnover, giving them enough profits to modernise the rooms. Ruth wants to liberate Room 1 from its claustrophobic floral patterns and give it a fresh, up-to-date look. In the bathroom, Ruth wants to banish the dreary whirlpools and introduce a more modern and elegant feel. Room 1 can then act as a template for refurbishing the rest of the hotel. But if Woodlands is ever to compete with its neighbouring Goliath, Ruth is going to have to shake up the hotel's management style as well as its decor.
Where I find the enigma is in the three principles. We have John, who never says a word out of line, politically correct. We have David, who is quite taciturn, and we have Jenny, who obviously wants to say things but isn't being very vocal about it. Who is responsible for where we are now, and who is going to really take up the cudgels and make things better? It's a very interesting situation.
Ruth has left the Woodlands management with a lot of work to do. Her first task for Jenny and David is to design a questionnaire for the guests. She wants to canvass opinion on the contentious issue of the whirlpool baths. Ruth and Jenny regard them as outdated. David and John think they're one of the hotel's USPs.
It's always been a unique point that we can say every room's got a whirlpool bath and a separate cubicle shower.
I'd much rather have a beautiful bathroom and less facilities.
Be your lady.
The future of the whirlpool baths now rests with the customers. Chef Stuart is heading to an award-winning restaurant nearby. Pebble Beach holds a rosette, and Ruth is keen for Stuart to soak up the flavours and feel of a modern kitchen to take back to Woodlands.
I've had a look at the menu. The menu's bigger than what we're doing at Woodlands Lodge. It's fresher, it looks really good.
Ruth wants him to learn from Pierre Chevillard, a former head chef of the world-renowned Chewton Glen Hotel, where he held a Michelin star. If the Woodlands restaurant is to be a success, Ruth feels Stuart needs to simplify the menu, sharpen the presentation, and cook to his strengths. Ruth hopes some of Pierre's rosette-winning knowledge will rub off on Stuart and help Woodlands regain its crown.
Everything we do, we do it simple.
Okay, let's go. Chat about the menus, chat about the food that he's doing. Really fantastic. We'll hopefully see the presentation, hopefully I'm learning, hopefully there's stuff here that I can take back to Woodlands Lodge and rock it back there with it. So it's all good. It's all good so far.
He's picking up tips from Chef Pierre about what makes a good menu.
Voilà, Stuart.
Oh, thank you very much, Chef.
This is the steam grill. What do you think?
Very simple, very elegant. It's lovely. That's a really nice piece of fish.
Yeah, Stuart is really enthusiastic, and I think he wants to create his own, his own menu, his own dishes. I think he's picked up a few tricks of the trade, and then a few ideas.
At Woodlands, Ruth has set Jenny and David another task. She's instructed them to spend a night in all of the hotel's 16 rooms, to view them from a guest's point of view.
Well, Ruth wanted us to road test a room. This is the first one. When I walked in, it was beautifully clean, as I would expect. And I loved it until I woke up in the morning and you lie on the bed, you open your eyes. It's... I don't know what to say, but it's not nice.
Having spent a night in 3 different rooms so far, Jenny seems to be on the same wavelength as Ruth, but David is singing a different tune entirely.
It's something different. You wouldn't have it at home, but you're here for a few days and most people can cope with that.
A luxury stay that turns into an endurance test may not be the best idea. David's attached to the hotel's floral interiors, but Jenny seems determined to forge ahead.
Ideally, I would like to do a whole room so the whole lot flows and looks good. So I shall try and persuade the men that that's what needs doing. I will probably win the fight. I will win, actually.
When we got the money.
We can borrow it.
We'll see.
The last word on refurbishment at Woodlands appears to rest with David. Ruth is concerned that the men are hindering progress, so she's returned to the hotel to talk to Jenny, woman to woman. She wants to get to the bottom of the Woodlands democracy.
In the past, I mean, when you've tried to do things, how much has it been a budgetary restraint that's held you back, and how much has it been working with two fellas?
I can usually do what I like more or less with the decor, but it's when it comes to furnishings, TVs, furniture, that sort of thing I struggle with.
Yes. Well, why do you think that is?
Because there's nothing wrong with what we've got. It's still got a lot of life in it yet.
Oh, that's a ghastly expression, isn't it? I can see entirely why John and David would say there's life in that bit of old furniture there. The trouble is that they're completely ignoring the aesthetic of it.
Yes, I can never get a really new look. I've got to decorate around what we've got.
Is it just on this front, though, that you feel as if you're beating your head against a wall occasionally?
Yes, yeah, nothing else.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Because David and I are usually in unison, so...
Yeah, that's good. Because I hate political correctness, and I'll tell you here now, I couldn't work for John in any way, shape or form because he's far too obliging. I need more edge.
Chef Stuart has been trying to design a new menu to move the restaurant forwards and ultimately regain the lost rosette.
Whatever ideas we put forth, it gets debated, it gets thrown back, and then we have to rethink and everything. So in some ways it's very good, but in other ways it's kind of it's eroding our ambition to some extent. It's just the pace of change here just seems to be very chug, very slow.
Foolish boy. There's clearly some frustration simmering in the kitchen, but Stuart has to focus on his cooking. A few weeks ago, Ruth sent him to visit the kitchen of Chef Pierre Chevillard. Today he's returning the favour. Pierre has come to sample some of Stuart's new dishes and assess his revised menu.
When he came to your kitchen, did you feel he was really listening and learning from
Well, the thing is, yes, I mean, I think he's got the ability,
Yeah.
you know, to be able to create.
Yeah.
And we need to see and taste.
Yeah, we do. and
I'm a little bit nervous about Pierre eating my food, obviously, because he's worked at one of the best hotels in the world, Chewton Glen, so it is nerve-wracking, but I'm confident that he'll appreciate the flavours.
This morning, Stuart has been working on 2 starters from the new menu, a terrine of leeks with a gazpacho sauce and noodles with smoked duck. But has he listened to Ruth and Pierre's advice to keep things simple?
There we go, guys. That's smoked duck breast and terrine of leeks with a sauce gazpacho.
Right.
All right.
OK, so I'm going to swirl away.
The first thing, freshness.
Yes.
You know, comes to my mind. This looks very fresh.
If I was going to be really cruel, I'd say this looks like a catstick. It
Yes.
doesn't hugely appeal to me.
No.
I don't like that very much.
I don't mind the taste, actually.
The first dish has received a mixed reaction. Will Stuart's second attempt fare any better?
This is the smoked duck breast.
The noodle side.
And then the noodles, which I have to say look slightly overcooked, but I could be wrong. I'm not wrong. OK.
No, I mean, it looked very pretty
It did look pretty,
on the plates.
No,
But
I
for
mean-
me, you know, noodles less cooked, duck cut thinner.
And more smoke.
And a bit more smoky.
Yeah.
Despite Ruth and Pierre's advice to keep it simple, the dishes are overly complicated and aren't hitting the right note. The new menu, designed by committee, has fallen short. Stuart emerges from the kitchen to hear their verdict.
Stuart, I think you're on the right path. I understand you've got some problems that we can help you with.
I know exactly where I need to be going. It's exactly where you would be going if you were in my position. If I can get the menu that I want in the restaurant to the customers, I think we can improve this threefold. I really, really do. But the kitchen's being stifled and we're not being able to be as creative as you want to be and do the food that we know we can do and the awards that we can achieve with it.
Stuart's dealings with the Woodlands management have left him frustrated. Concerned he's not getting the support he needs, Ruth calls a meeting with John, Jenny and David.
Now, we all know that Stuart wants to change the menu. And John, specifically, he feels that you are holding him back. And I'm very bothered if I already am sensing that, you know, we're not working in unison here. So I think maybe this lad you know, heart in the right place, trying very hard, needs a bit more grown-up support.
We realise that, and we are trying to help there.
Yeah. Well, you know, at the end of the day, we wanted the rosette back. I'll be absolutely honest, it wouldn't have come back on the strength of the food I just had today. But that's not the end of it. He's still there, he's still trying hard, but I think we need to temper some of the enthusiasm and to say, you don't need the fireworks, and he needs to understand that fireworks come when you're really on top of it.
Ruth had also asked John and David to canvass customer opinion on the whirlpool baths.
Did you have a chance to do the questionnaire?
We did a survey about the bathrooms, which asked people their opinions, and yes, you were proved right.
They didn't care about whirlpools?
They didn't care about whirlpools.
Okay.
And I'm mortified. That was my unique selling point. Gone.
You could slightly correct that. There's quite a wide variety of opinions,
Yes, okay.
I think is more fair to say.
Right.
The male contingent are reluctant to relinquish the spa baths, but the customer survey has swung the pendulum in favour of Ruth and Jenny. An interior designer is already working on the redesign of Room 1, and Ruth wants to make sure that David and John don't obstruct progress.
What I'm hoping he's going to come through with is a great design that you all like, that gives Jenny a template for the way forward, but I want you to trust her to be able to do that and not to hold her up and say, look, you can do this bit, but you can't do that bit because it's actually okay, because this is all down to budgets at the end of the day, isn't it?
We're cautious, aren't we, David?
You see, this is what bothers me. I said to Jenny, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you, John, I couldn't work with you. I like the kind of jaggy edges. I like to be a bit more dangerous, you know? And we wouldn't be a good partnership at all. And I think some of the problem here is that you're all too nice, that you've got to poke your head above the parapet wall, be prepared to have it blown off occasionally. You know, a bit more assertion.
We're not assertive people. But we will try. Yeah.
A few days later, Ruth's team have moved in to begin the renovations of Room 1. The walls and ceiling have been stripped of the dark green floral wallpaper, and the tired bathroom has been gutted. The new designer look should give the room a lighter, more delicate feel. Ruth had asked for Jenny to be given more autonomy in the refurbishment and redecoration of the rooms. But in reception, the men appear to have taken over.
We've had these, this collage, less colourful, I think is probably the way to put it.
No. They seem reluctant to embrace more subtle shades and designs. They're drawn to the heavier, darker pattern, symptomatic of their obsession with oppressive wallpapers.
Quite nice, and the way it reflects the light is quite good as well, depending how you catch it.
Yeah.
And given they're going to paint the ceilings, so it's going to be white ceilings, it won't. The fact it's a bit darker, it won't overpower it too much.
No, that's right.
John and David are struggling to leave the past behind and adjust to the transformation.
We've spoken to a number of people. The older people's initial reaction is probably the same as ours, so that says something.
Initially, it was just the shock of seeing something totally different, but we're resigned to it now.
One reluctant step forwards, 2 steps back. It's just a few weeks since Ruth sampled the new menu at Woodlands, but disaster has struck in the kitchen.
We lost our chef, Stuart. He had a lot of problems at home and unfortunately decided to leave us.
It was a day of disappointment, confusion, upset really. John had to get his hands dirty, chopping away.
We're a very, very small team in the hotel. Losing any member of staff affects everybody. So that really did knock our ambitions. Now we've managed to promote our second chef, Nick, who's been with us for 2.5 years, I think it is now. He's a really good chef, very enthusiastic. It's his first position as head chef, and I think he's going to do a good job.
Stuart's departure is not just a sad day for the staff. It's also a blow to Woodlands' rosette ambitions. Effectively, the race to regain the lost rosette has ground to a premature halt. and with it, the basis of Ruth's plan to turn their fortunes around.
Obviously, it was disappointing that this hiccup occurred in terms of trying to get the rosette. They're probably going to delay getting the rosette, I guess.
Today, Ruth is returning to see the progress in room 1, but she's barely set foot inside when John tells her about Stuart's departure.
John, hi.
Hello, Ruth, how are you? Stuart is no longer with us. Family crisis, and had to leave us very much in a rush.
Right.
But yes, it came as a shock to us all. Of course, there's a lot of trouble, as you can imagine. On the positive side, we've now been able to promote Nick, who is our second chef.
Have you reason to believe he can do this job?
I think he can. I've no doubts he will be a very good chef in years to come.
Sure. But in the short term, we don't look as if we're looking at regaining a rosette. This sounds like a longer haul.
I think it is going to be a longer haul. We have to be realistic.
The pursuit of the rosette has come to a standstill, and without it, the hotel will struggle to compete with Terravina's contemporary restaurant. With Plan A now redundant, Woodlands desperately needs a Plan B. The refurbishment of Room 1 has now taken on greater importance. The domineering floral patterns are no more. In their place, a stylish modern room that still suits its country house setting. With white walls and ceiling, it feels lighter and larger. The chic wallpaper has been confined to one wall, where it acts as a feature instead of overpowering the room. And the bathroom has also been brought up to date with a contemporary freestanding bath. But will Ruth approve of the rejuvenation? Accompanied by Jenny, she's going to take a look at the finished result.
Gosh. Ooh, this is so much more lovely. It's hard to imagine where all those flowers went that were everywhere. Has that given you the confidence to actually take down all the wallpapers on the ceiling?
Absolutely, they're all going now.
What this proves is that this whole hotel can look incredibly elegant, very modern.
I'm already planning the other rooms.
You are?
From the same book that came from.
Good. I think it's really piss elegant. So what about the bathroom?
I love the bath, absolutely love the bath, the basins, everything.
Fabulous shower, good size, and this huge shower head. Light, bright. This is form and function, as far as I'm concerned.
On the whole, Jenny seems happy with the revival of Room 1 and the introduction of a more modern look. But Ruth has always felt the men were more resistant to the change, so she's keen to find out what David thinks of the finished product.
Your lovely new room,
Yes.
and that lovely bathroom, I mean, I think that bathroom is a joy.
Slight problem with marketing in that we've now got one room that isn't a whirlpool, so we
Yes.
can't say all our rooms are with whirlpool
Yeah.
baths, so it just complicates things slightly.
If I said to you that I felt that this hotel was sort of slightly locked in the 80s in terms of style and habitat and the way it's traded,
I
would
can
you?
understand, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You would?
Yes.
You wouldn't disagree?
I think there's elements of it. I mean, yeah, in terms of the style. They're just so practical, if you like, the furniture you've had.
There speaks a practical man. No, this is what I mean, though, is you have to move forward because you're just going to become more and more dated and more unappealing. You know, it doesn't have to be madly fashionable, but it does have to feel as if, you know...
Contemporary.
Yes, that you're of the moment rather than stuck, 25 years ago. Yeah?
We'll work at it.
With the new room meeting collective approval, Woodlands now has a blueprint for battle with the Terravina. But it doesn't seem to have spurred the management team into action.
I don't know whether I'm being unfair about this, but I'd love to see some fire in the belly of either David, Jenny, or John. I mean, I don't care who, but everything is so mitigated by a sort of sensible decision. Where's the enthusiasm here? Where's the desire to change? The desire to do things with more imagination, with more, I don't know, just downright spunk. I find it quite life-sapping.
Frustrated, Ruth is taking the bull by the horns. Following the old adage that you keep your friends close but your enemies closer, she wants Woodlands to build a relationship with the Terravina and create a spirit of cooperation rather than competition. Gerard and Nina take her upstairs to show her their plans for a luxury double bedroom.
Fantastic, look at the lights and these windows.
And this one's special because we have a big roll-top bath going in front of the window.
Very nice. I think it's just wonderful, and I'm going to be very interested what you think of the new bedroom that we've done next door at Woodlands. And what I'm hoping, of course, is that you're going to be so full downstairs and so full in the bedrooms that you're going to be able to give a little bit of your excess business to the Woodlands.
It certainly is helpful that we do have a hotel so close by that we can put people in if we need to.
With a total of only 11 bedrooms at the Terravina, Woodlands is perfectly placed to pick up any overflow. But if Gerard and Nina are to recommend Woodlands to their guests, they'll have to like what they see. Ruth plans to escort them to Woodlands Lodge to catch up with John, Jenny and David.
Hey, David, hello, John. You've met, I think, already.
And then show them the newly refurbished Room 1.
So, come in. Yeah, so you've seen how it looked. This did used to have wallpaper all over the ceiling and down the beams.
Oh, right. So it would have made the room feel very small.
Very oppressive, very dark.
This is lovely with all the beams as a feature.
So would you be happy to recommend people
Absolutely,
to
yes.
come and stay
Yes,
in
for
such
a room
a
like
room?
this, it would be great. Yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't feel that you were sending them somewhere that you felt bad about?
No, I don't think so.
No, not at all.
Gerard and Nina seem impressed with Room 1. If the two hotels can collaborate rather than compete, they could put this corner of the New Forest on the map.
I mean, we are neighbours, we want to work together, of course.
That would be lovely. I know they'd appreciate it.
If Woodlands can continue a programme of refurbishments and regain the lost rosette for the restaurant, then it stands a chance of rising alongside its rival. But for that to happen, Ruth feels the Woodlands management desperately need to move up a gear. One approved overflow room is not going to save the business.
The good news is that they were really, very delighted with the room. They thought it looked really modern and clean and cool and nice and light. So I think that's good stuff, yes. that we've established that there can be, positive cooperation between these two establishments.
Having dealt with the good news, it's time for Ruth to really tell it like it is.
I'm going to be really frank. I sometimes end up feeling quite depressed when I leave here. I get bored here. And it's because it's all so sorted and so reasonable and rational and everything's in its place and what have you. And
you haven't seen us at all worse.
But I want to see some fire and I want to see some... And, this is... I feel like I've had to drag it out of... Jenny's probably given me more in the end than any of you guys have. John, you're very urbane. You say the right things and do the whole thing. So that's your stance, David, shy, that's... You don't want to be dragged out. Jenny, I feel like... You're the person who's actually come forward and has sort of claimed it more as your own. If that can
It used to. And I think a bit of it is just because we've all got tired and jaded and, and this has actually given us all more energy.
Well, I really hope it has. And I think you've got to, all of you, be far more positive about this building. Speak about it more, shout about it more if necessary.
The future is still uncertain for Woodlands and only time will tell if the hotel can prosper. But Ruth hopes her strong words will inspire some much-needed passion and confidence in Jenny, John and David.
I think two hotels close together can work in partnership.
Hopefully, yes, we can get to know each other even better and work together well.
I think it will put Woodlands on the map.
It's been a useful experience because it has made us look at absolutely every aspect. Yes, and it's been useful to let the men know that spending money on rooms is actually important.
Well, it's a fond adieu.
Right. Thank you very much.
I hope things go
Lovely to
really,
see
really
you.
well. And because she's my kind of woman, she gets kissed.
Thank you,
Listen,
Ruth.
take care.
Thank
Slide,
you very
Jenny.
much.
Thanks
Slide.
very much. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
For a long time, I've actually wanted to set fire to Woodlands. Not to raise it to the ground, because it's a very nice building, but because I've wanted to see some spark about the place. Well, today, for the first time, I've seen the warm, glowing embers. And if only John and David and Jenny can fan that fire, I think this place can be so successful because it's in a delightful spot. And I know that they actually care about it.